Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Weekly Wellness. Oh, and by the way, guys, I just to let you know, I have the chat over here to the side. Now, that's what I'll be looking if I'm looking over there. It's for the chat. I'm Eliza Riley, a holistic menopause coaching specialist. And today we are tackling a topic that so many women struggle with, but rarely talk about. And that's always feeling hungry no matter how much you eat. Before we dive in, I just want to make sure that you guys never miss an episode. If you love these weekly wellness lives, sign up for my newsletter. That way I can send these straight to your inbox each week, along with extra tips and insights to help you navigate perimenopause and menopause naturally. The link I can put for you here in the chat. Hang on one second. And if you grab that now, you can sign up later. That's okay. Oh, good, it worked. Yay. I have a whole new setup, so I'm trying to figure out where everything goes and where everything's going to be and whether or not it actually works. I appreciate you guys being here with me to test it all out. Thank you so much. So what we're going to cover today is a few things. First off, why you might be feeling hungry all the time, even after you've eaten. We'll cover the hormone glitch that's keeping you stuck in that hunger cycle. We'll cover the biggest mistakes that make cravings worse and some simple shifts to finally feel satisfied without cutting food or counting calories. So I hope that sounds good to you guys. Yes, the link, Rebecca, should be, oh, let me see, maybe I shared it in the wrong spot. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Let me try that again. I shared it to myself because, I need it, clearly. There we go. All right. So, simple shifts to where was I? Simple shifts to finally feel satisfied without cutting food. And I hope that that sounds good to you guys because I'm super excited to talk about it because I think that you guys are going to get some really great information from this. And if you're someone who feels like you're always thinking about food, drop a me in the chat. I want to see how many of us can relate. While we were waiting for that, I'm just going to share with you guys my own story with this particular topic. I used to struggle so much with food and with eating. I would eat a full meal, sometimes to the point of truly being overstuffed, and then I would still be going looking around, going like, okay, what else? What else? What else is there? What else can I eat? And sometimes I would like go for a dessert because I ate my food, I get my dessert, right? But sometimes it was just like I would eat the food and then I would have like the chocolate and then I would want some chips and then I'd want some popcorn and then I'd want some more chocolate. And so like I just wanted more and more and more. And it wasn't because I was hungry. And to be completely honest, I felt disgusting. I would be so embarrassed that there were actually times that with my both of my sons were little and were living with me at the time. Not little, I mean they were teenagers, but that's little. Um, they were little for me to me, but they were living with me and of course my husband. And I would be so embarrassed by wanting this desire to just keep eating that I would go and hide so that I could eat more. And I would often tell myself, like, I'm just going to have one more like bowl of chips, or I'm going to have just one more bag of popcorn. And popcorn can be like, was one of the worst things for me because I literally would get those like giant bags of popcorn and I'd be like, oh, but it's only 300 calories. I mean, it's not, but like I would tell myself that that it was just not many calories. And so like I could eat the whole bag and then I would feel just gross. And even then I'd still be like, okay, now I need some chocolate to follow that up with. And the guilt was truly overwhelming. Because I would beat myself up about it. I would say that I was weak, I was broken. And the biggest thing was like I would seriously ask myself, what kind of person eats to the point where like I really feel sick? Like I really feel so over uncomfortably full. I mean, to the point where like as I'm walking back to the kitchen, I'm like wobbling, like I can't even walk straight because I've eaten too much. And here's the thing that I wish I knew back then. Hunger is not about willpower. If you're always hungry, your body, your hormones are telling you something. And trying to force yourself to just stop eating doesn't fix it. It can make it worse. And it definitely makes you feel bad when you fail, right? So what's happening in our body that you feel hungry all the time? So like there's actual science that is behind this. So we actually have two main hunger hormones. Ghrelin, I call it gremlin, the ghrelin gremlin is the gas pedal and it tells you eat, eat, eat. And leptin is the brakes. Leptin is what tells your brain that it's time to stop eating. And you know, when and I'm sure you guys have heard before that if you the saying that eat slower, of course, that's always very good. But also if you just wait a little while, your brain will get the message that you're full and then you can stop eating. And so we talk so often eat too fast so that the we're over full before the message reaches our brain. But that's leptin. When and you can actually develop leptin resistance so that no matter how slow you're eating or how long you wait, your brain never gets that message that you're full, even after a big meal or taking a long time to eat it. So, which is really where a lot of this inability to stop eating comes from. It's where we don't have the hormone that says it's time to stop. And interestingly, there are things that we do every day that throw off the balance of these hormones. Um, Poor sleep, actually, when we're not sleeping well, ghrelin goes up, leptin goes down. And you may have noticed when you don't sleep well, the next day you just feel hungrier all day. That's why, that's why. And so another one is too many processed foods. So often we eat a lot of processed foods, and when you do, that you actually can develop leptin resistance, which means that you have no off switch. And then blood sugar. Now, blood sugar naturally spikes and dips throughout the day, but when what we want to see with our blood sugar is we want to see it kind of go like this, right? And when it goes like this, our hunger is going to return more quickly. And then the last thing that I'll share with you guys is on this is chronic stress and high cortisol. Both of those can lead to more cravings for sugar, salt, and carbs. And the interesting thing about this is that any one of these can cause that I can't get enough food reaction. But for most of us, we deal with all of them. Like we're struggling with all of them, not sleeping, our blood sugar, chronic stress, like all of the things. And so when they pile up, you really feel like your hunger is out of control, even when you're eating, even when you're eating plenty. So tell me in the chat, do you notice that your cravings get worse when you're tired or stressed? I know I do. Lots of knees for the previous question, by the way. Thank you for interacting with me. Yes, definitely. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And so why so let's bring it back to perimenopause and menopause. You may have noticed that this time in your life that these things, your hunger and your cravings, feel even more extreme. And again, there's science behind it. It's because, first off, our estrogen and progesterone decline, and both of those help to regulate our appetite. Our cortisol, the stress hormone, naturally increases during the midlife transition. So again, that triggers more cravings. And insulin sensitivity drops. And so the interesting thing about insulin sensitivity that I think most women are not educated on throughout our lives, throughout our menstruating lives, from the moment we start having periods, we we actually go through these cycles of greater insulin sensitivity or or less insulin sensitivity. So like it goes up and down. And typically right before your period starts, your insulin sensitivity drops. and which causes blood sugar swings that increase hunger. So like you may have noticed right before your period every month, you were hungrier. And that's again normal biology. But it seems like when we're in perimenopause and menopause that we kind of almost get stuck in that insulin sensitivity dropping. And so you actually feel like you stay there longer. And I think I'm sure we actually do, but you may notice that it feels that way. And then finally, most of us, when we are struggling with menopausal symptoms, we don't sleep well. And that also throws off, as I mentioned already, throws off your ghrelin and your leptin. So you have more ghrelin and less leptin. So if you feel like your appetite is totally unpredictable now, it's not in your head. Your body is experiencing real changes, and there are ways to work with it instead of fighting against it. So how do we do that? How do we reset our hunger hormones naturally? There are actually some I think it's really exciting because there are some simple ways that you can start to balance your hunger naturally. One of those ways is to eat for satiety. And that means prioritizing protein at every meal. Most women are not eating enough protein, especially at midlife, when our protein needs actually go up. You should aim for somewhere between 20 to 30 grams of protein at every meal. And this is going to help to keep you full longer. And you want to include healthy fats. Fat is not our enemy. I've actually seen some studies recently that talked about how, like, why our grandparents had an easier time with menopausal transition was because they ate more healthy fats. They ate butter. They ate lots of things. They probably didn't eat as many avocados as we do, but nuts and olive oil and butter and things like that. But salmon is also another really good one. But yeah, include more healthy fats. Don't be afraid of them. And fiber-rich foods. Eat lots of fiber-rich foods like vegetables, seeds, whole foods, really. You want to make sure you're getting plenty of those with your meals. And the second thing that you can do goes back to balancing your blood sugar. So some simple ways that you can balance your blood sugar is don't have naked carbs. And what I mean by that is you always want to pair your carbs with protein or fat. So whatever carb you're having, make sure that you are including one of the proteins or fats, like what I just mentioned. And don't skip your meals. When you skip meals, you may have noticed that you get hangry. You get angry and hungry, and it's not good. Especially at midlife, we want to make sure that you're eating regular meals. Now, whether that's 3 meals for you or 5 meals for you, whatever is right for your body, just make sure that you're not skipping, because skipping meals prevents, I'm sorry, not skipping meals prevents ghrelin spikes. So you'll have less of them, and you'll have less of that hunger hormone saying eat, eat, eat. And start your day with protein and fat, not sugar or caffeine. I know that that's hard. So many of us have been raised to start our day with pancakes and toast or cereal or just a cup of coffee. Forego that. Start your day with protein and fat. And finally, and I know that this can be the hardest one for us, especially at midlife, prioritize sleep and stress management. I know that the saying is 7 to 9 hours of sleep. I really think it's more like 8 to 10. Like, we really need to be getting more sleep than we think that we do. And know that even one bad night of sleep can throw everything off. And stress also plays a huge part in how you feel about food the next day. So here's one of the bad cycles that happens. You have a bad night of sleep, you don't sleep well, and the whole next day you're stressed out about how you didn't sleep the night before. And that's not helping either. Like, you're just compounding the inability to eat well, to eat right. And so our brains are interestingly easily tricked. So when you wake up in the morning and you haven't slept well and you know that you didn't get enough sleep, instead of saying, I didn't sleep enough, or I slept terribly, say, wow, I slept really well. Even though it's not true, it tricks your brain into thinking that it is true, and therefore it can help with these hormones so that you're still getting them the way that you would prefer to get them. Now, the sleep, you can't change the fact that you didn't sleep, but you can change the way that you look at it. And also, breathing exercises, even 2 to 3 minutes of breath work can help prevent stress-driven cravings. And so, and I know that's another one that we're like, we're always told like just to go and breathe when you're experiencing cravings. It really can help if you're eating out of stress. So by making these small tweaks, you can train your body to feel full and satisfied again. And it doesn't take a drastic overhaul of what you eat or strict diets. And I don't know about you, but that's exciting to me. What do you guys think? Tell me in the chat. Ariane is asking how does a breakfast look like when eating vegan with enough proteins and healthy fats? Well, I will tell you, Ariane, I appreciate the question and I don't want to disrespect your way of eating. Please know that. But I am not someone who is well versed in how to eat well as a vegan. I'm not sure. I'm certain that there are things like hemp, tofu if you eat that. I honestly, I'm not the person to answer that. But if you're really interested in working with someone who can answer that, I can certainly put you in touch with someone. So by now you may be thinking, okay, this makes sense, but how do I actually fix it for my body? And that's exactly why I work one-on-one with women, to take the guesswork out and help you to restore your energy, balance your hormones, and to feel good again. There's so much conflicting advice out there about what to eat, how to balance your hormones, and ways to stop the barrage of symptoms that come with the midlife transition. And it can be so confusing to know what to do. And it can be extremely frustrating when you try those things and you don't feel any better. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by all the conflicting advice, you're not alone. It's not your fault that the information out there is confusing. It's not your fault that what worked in your 30s isn't working anymore. That's exactly why I offer a free strategy session. So you can finally get clear on what's actually happening with your body, what's keeping you stuck, and how to move forward in a way that actually works for you. No, this is not a sales call. It's a focused, personalized session just for you. I've opened up just a few spots next week. If you want one, drop ready in the chat now, and I will personally reach out to you with the next steps. And if you're listening to the replay, same thing, put ready, and I will reach out to you with that strategy session. The key thing to remember here when it comes to this hunger is that small daily shifts add up to big changes. If you're always hungry, your body isn't broken. It's just asking for something different. I would love to see you guys start with just one of the shifts that I shared today in this session and see what happens in your body. Thank you guys so much for being here with me today. I will see you next week for another weekly Wellness Live. And let's see. Yes, Susie, it's so important. Protein at breakfast is the most important time to have protein. I mean, you should have it with every meal, but protein is where it starts. And you really set up your whole day by starting with protein at breakfast. Kristen has some wonderful, helpful ways to add protein to a plant-based diet. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kirsten. I think I may have said your name wrong. I apologize. Yes, Jennifer, that is correct. So that's my newsletter. When you sign up for the newsletter, automatically you're going to get the free workbook, which is it's a journal. It's a set of pages that you can use, that you can disregard if you don't want to use them, but they're really good, and you can use them to start keeping track of what you're doing and how those things are helping or not. And it's interesting because, it's so important that we be journaling what we're doing. Like even if it's something as simple as adding protein to your meals, you can say I'm adding protein to my meals and you can write that down, but You can also, but the important thing is to be able to go back and say, okay, so when I first started, before I started, this is how I felt. And then I added protein every day for a week. And now this is how I feel. It's so important to be able to look back and see what those changes are actually doing in your body. Because we forget that we were more tired. We forget that our digestion wasn't working as well. We just think, oh, my digestion is working well, but it must just be random, right? Like, no, it's because of something that you're doing. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you guys so much. Ruth, I will send out the replay to everyone. And I can drop the link again for to sign up. If you're not already on my newsletter list, you can sign up here and you will automatically get the replay in your mailbox. And also, you can either do that or you can sign up on YouTube and you'll get them there as well if you're subscribed. And it's okay. I think Dar, I believe that I've seen you in there already, but you're welcome to sign up again. It will just it won't do anything. It'll just, if you're already in there, it'll just move you on. Hi, Jennifer. Yes, you can start implementing these right away. My YouTube is at Coach Eliza. I don't have the link, but hopefully you can find it from that. And I can try to remember to have the link next time. And again, if you are signed up for my newsletter, I will put the link to the page as well as to this individual recording there. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now. I'll continue to answer any questions that come up, but I don't want to keep everyone here who isn't interested. So thank you guys so much. Bye.